Good day guys! So today we are going to talk about understanding cultural diversity in the service organization. To deal with this topic, we must first understand what diversity means. Diversity is the existence of variations of different characteristics in a group of people. It includes our cognitive skills, our personality traits, and everything that shapes our identity such as race, age, gender, religion, sexual orientation, and our cultural background. Diversity consists of two different factors, the visible factors and invisible factors. Visible factors includes all the things that can't be readily changed, such as our physical appearances, our age, and our physical or intellectual disability. Invisible factors of diversity, on the other hand, includes all the things that can't be readily seen, such as our background, our culture, our personality, and our work style. A lot of benefits come with diversity. Among these benefits are the following. First, it expands creativity and problem solving. Second, it improves our decision-making skills. Third, it increases our profitability and productivity. Fourth, it enhances employee retention and engagement. And lastly, it improves company reputation. These following benefits will be later on discussed by the succeeding lessons.
Cultural diversity, commonly known as multiculturalism, refers to a set of individuals from several cultures and societies. Language, religion, race, sexual orientation, gender, age, and ethnicity are all objects in cultural diversity. Our culture is what shapes us. It shapes our behavior and our identity. Culture is our way of living. It refers to the shared language, beliefs, values, norms, behavior, and material objects that are passed from one generation to the next. There is 7 important actions in cultural diversity. The first one is acknowledgement of the rich diversity of cultures. Second, respect for the differences. Third, respecting the importance of various cultural expressions and contributions. Number 4, valuing what other cultures offer. Number 5, encouraging the contribution of diverse groups. Number 6 is inspiring people to help themselves and others realize their full potential. And the last one is motivating people to attain their greatest potential. Why cultural diversity is a good thing? Culture is the mirror through which we assess everything around us. It is through our culture that we assess what is proper, inappropriate, normal, or aberrant. When we encounter a fundamentally different culture after being immersed in one that is not our own, we may experience culture shock and become disoriented. People naturally use their own culture as a standard to judge other cultures. Nevertheless, judging others could lead to discrimination against those whose ways of being differ from their own. After all, we have a natural dread of what we don't understand. How can you support cultural diversity? First, interacting with people from different cultures will help you have a better knowledge of other civilizations. Because of a lack of understanding, meaningful relationship may never emerge. Number 2, avoid imposing values on others that are suitable or conflicting with other cultures. Number 3, when communicating with those who may not be fluent in English, keep in mind that their lack of competence in the language has nothing to do with their degree of intelligence. Number 4, identify and understand that themes in the helping profession, such as family, gender, roles, spiritually and emotional well-being, differ greatly between cultures and have an impact on behavior.
In order to truly succeed, you need to grow behind the one-size-fits-all mentality and learn to understand and respond appropriately to the preference of customers from varying ethnic, social, and economic background. In this global economy, skills like culture awareness, flexibility, and effective communication are critical for customer service representative to proper deal with expectation of people from different cultures. Culture can define as all the way of life, including arts, belief, and institutions of a population that are passed down from generation to generation. But the best definition of culture came from entrepreneurs and Hamden, which is culture is the way people resolve dilemmas. For example, the dilemma of equality versus freedom, wherein all humans have the same right but sympathize having freedom to do all she pleases. But we can have both. So culture then is the way people resolve such dilemmas. Dimensions most relevant for customer support. Number 1, neutral versus emotional culture. People from affective culture tend to express their feelings and emotions openly, whereas people from neutral culture usually try to hide their thoughts and feelings. These two opposing concepts can help us to understand behavior and reaction to situations so that we can avoid making false interpretation or judgment about others when working across. When dealing with customers from neutral cultures, don't be depressed by a seemingly lack of emotion. Keep your own emotion in control. Focus objective arguments. Pay attention to subtle hints to understand the customer's opinion on something. Japan, UK, and Indonesia are examples of neutral countries. When dealing with customers from emotional cultures, don't be overwhelmed by seemingly dramatic scenes of emotion. Return warm when it is expressed, avoid expressionless behavior. Clear positive or negative emotion. Don't be mean the customers has made up her mind. Netherlands, Mexico, Italy, and Spain are examples of emotional countries. When universalism versus particularism culture. Culture with high universalism see one reality and focus on formal rules. Business meetings are characterized by rational, professional arguments with a get down to business attitude. Universalism countries include US, Canada, UK, Australia, Germany, and Sweden. Cultures with high particularism see reality as more subjective and place a greater emphasis on relationships. It is important to get to know the people one is doing business with during meetings. In a particularist environment, particularism countries include Venezuela, Indonesia, China, and South Korea. Dealing with customers from universalistic cultures. Don't be offended by get down to business attitude. Focus on rational objective arguments. Treat customers according to a clear set of rules. When dealing with customers from particularistic cultures, take small talk seriously. Focus on building up personal relationships. Grant priorities to loyal or known customers.
High or low context culture. According to Meyer, different culture have different level of understanding. It's either high or low understanding. What is high context? When we say high context, it is the culture that are usually relational and collectivist. They tend to be aware and observant on the facial expressions, body language, the tone, and other aspects that are not directly spoken. They tend to be deep type of person. How to deal people from high context culture? Deal with them in a way that you are paying attention on everything they say. Read between their lines because there might be a hidden or subtle messages in it. And also, be aware on the words that have or may have double meanings. Next is low context. So what is low context? When you say low context, it is the culture that has no hidden messages at all because they deliver their messages itself and explicitly. They tend to have a simple, clear, and straightforward communication. How to deal with people from low context culture. Dealing with them is easy. You just have to deliver your messages clear, simple, and precisely. You have also to be straightforward and just be yourself. The importance of knowing the culture, whether it is high or low context, is because it will depend on how you will deal on the people from that culture. What is individualistic culture? When we say individualistic culture, it is all about taking care of yourself. A belief that you should be unique and self-reliant. This culture taught you on how to be strong, independent, how to deal with people from individualistic culture. To deal with them, don't go along their decisions because they don't care about your opinions. They don't care on how people think or look on them. What is communitarian culture? Communitarian culture is a connection between an individual and a group. They merely depends on what and how other people look or think of them. How to deal people from communitarian culture? To deal with them, you have to focus on building a long-lasting relationship. Your opinions also matter to them. Your support is important in exchange of their loyalty. So that's the explanation about individualistic versus communitarian culture. Now I ask you again for the last time. Are you an individualistic or communitarian?
Hey there everyone! Prior to what the previous presenter have mentioned, let's talk about culture, where it is about the values and beliefs, especially the behaviors of the people that flow from them. It is about the dilemma of equality versus the freedom. We can all agree that all humans should have the same rights and opportunities. Under cultural dimension types, the first four types have been mentioned, and now I will present the power distance where it talks about how comfortable people being in higher and lower hierarchy. The other one is the Let's tackle now the next type of cultural dimension, which is the achievement versus ascription culture. But first, what is achievement? Achievement is a thing done successfully, typically by effort or skill. And what is ascription? Ascription is the action of regarding a quality as belonging to someone or something. So, what is achievement versus ascription culture? Achievement culture, it is about what you do. It is gained primarily through competence. People are accorded to status based on how well they perform from their functions. Respect is gradually earned through consistent, high performance and can be lost quickly through perceived poor judgments. Reward and recognition, good performance, appropriately use titles when relevant, be a good role model is needed through this achievement culture. People in this achievement culture is believed that you are what you do, and they base your worth accordingly on what you are doing. This culture value performance no matter what you are. While ascription culture, it is about where you come from. Positions, responsibility, and leadership are assigned by society based upon the status on who or what a person is, rather than what they have done. These use titles when these clarify people's status in an organization. These show respect to people in authority. especially when challenging decisions. One strategy of this ascription culture is also authority comes from status and respect is given to authority. Don't let your authority prevent you from performing well in your role. So, people in this ascription culture believe that you should be valued for who you are. Power, title, and position matter in these cultures, and this role define behavior. The difference of the achievement culture and the ascription culture is how people gain power, authority, and respect. That's all. Thank you.
Number 7, negative feedback. Some cultures are very direct in giving direct feedback, while others will do so subtly and politely. Negative feedbacks are often seen in a bad light. However, it is one of the most important ways to help a person improve if given in a correct way. There are different ways how customers give their feedbacks. Some are direct to the point and some are subtle but put it in a nicer way. When dealing with customers from more direct feedback culture, don't be shocked by direct feedback. Don't assume the negative feedback means you've lost a customer. Be clear in your communication. If something isn't possible, simply say so. Example of the countries are Netherlands, Russia, Israel, and Germany. And when dealing with customers from more indirect feedback culture, be more perception to what sounds like mere suggestions. Take implicit negative feedbacks very seriously. You've almost lost the customer. Be gentle in your communication. If something isn't possible, say, "That's a good idea. I will look into it, but it will probably be difficult." An example of the countries are China, Japan, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico. Number 8. Deductive versus inductive persuasion. When you're in customer service, you're dealing with people, and when you're dealing with people, you're in the persuasion business. Deductive is theories, philosophies, and deeper concepts are presented before statement or opinion. Inductive. This method begins with specific pieces of information or observation, and then it concludes with generalization that may or may be factual. There are some customers or people that prepare deductive persuasion, while there are other people who just prefer inductive persuasion. Inductive and deductive are both strive to construct a valid argument. Therefore, inductive reasoning moves from specific instances into a generalization conclusion, while deductive reasoning moves from generalized principles that are known to be true to a true specific conclusion. When dealing with customers from more deductive persuasion culture, explain value by moving from the theories and deeper concept to practical application. Example countries are Italy, France, Spain, and Russia. And when dealing with customers from more indirect persuasion culture, explain value by starting a practical application and back up with concept. Avoid deep theoretical arguments. Example of countries are US, Canada, UK, and Netherlands.
Under time scheduling, it derives from a deeper philosophical stance on predictability of the future. Some cultures believe that future can be strictly planned on linear time. In other cultures, the future is regarded as more fluid and plans are set subject for change on flexible time. And also adaptability and flexibility are valued. As a customer service, one of the things that the most important to overall success of your company is to utilize time in efficient and productive manner. Any failure can let a company pay a price because a company is a customer. Time scheduling is a strategy of planning your available time and controlling the amount of time you spend on a specific task to work more efficiently. Effective time management comes easier to some people than others, but everyone can develop habits to improve time management skill. Without strong management, your work and well-being can suffer, and it can lead to missing deadlines. Time scheduling is important because it helps you control your workday so that can build more business without compromising your work-life balance. When you are managing the time well, that will help you a lot for follow each customer severely and follow the customer requirement and study it and giving them the best solution, so that the customer feels the interest and feel how much the company want to help you provide the best service. It also makes the service provided in the best possible way. In general, time scheduling allows you to divide your work hours on all your customer and serve them all without neglecting any customer and avoid you from embarrassment and leaves a good impression with customer and make them trust you again. There are other factors. Psychologist Dr. Berhorsfield published a cultural dimension model at the end of the 1970s. Based on a decade of research, since then it became an internationally recognized standard for understanding culture differences. Number 1 is the power distance index, or the high versus low. This refers to the degree or inequality that exists and accepted between people without or with power. Number 2 is individualism versus collectivism. This refers to the strength of the ties that people to other within their community. When dealing the customer from linear time culture, remember that number 1 is realize that planning mentioned by you or a customer is interpreted as precise. Be explicit when you're planning, like delivery date or time is an estimation. Example countries are Germany, Switzerland, Japan, and Sweden. When dealing with customer from more flexible cultures, realize that planning are always intention and estimation. Be as flexible as possible. Example countries are Saudi Arabia, India, China, Nigeria, and Brazil. Number 3 is masculinity versus femininity. This refers to the distribution of roles between men and women. In masculine societies, the roles of the men and women overlap less, and men are expected to behave assertively. Number 4 is uncertainty avoidance index, or the high versus low. This dimension describes how well people can cope with anxiety. Number 5, long versus short-term orientation. This dimension was originally described as pragmatic versus normative, or PRA. It refers to the time horizon people in a society display. Countries with a long-term orientation tend to be pragmatic, modest, and thriftier. And the last one is indulgence versus restraint. This discovered and described together with Michael Minkov. It also relatively new and therefore accompanied by less data. According to the model, Eastern European countries, including Russia, have a low IIV score. Hofstede argues that these countries are characterized by a restrained culture where there are tendency toward feminism. People put little emphasis on leisure time, and as the tie suggests, people try to restrain themselves in a high degree.
How to tap into strengths of a culturally diverse customer service team. According to Patrick Mackay, people have higher trust, comfort, and rapport to people they are similar with. And when they try to interact on a cross-group level, they tend to be less comfortable. Given the fact that cultural diversity will eventually expand in the coming years, customer service should carry out the tapping of strengths using these 3 ways for a better supply of customer experience. First on the list is conducting a sensitivity training. For the information of everyone, sensitivity training is an intensive group discussion or interaction that increases individuals' awareness of self and others. Every employee has to undergo this kind of training. It is for their cultural awareness and to better understand the impact of cultural differences. It is also necessary foundation to be culturally competent. Second on the list is incorporate diversity into hiring practices. Hiring for diversity will give you the benefit of understanding well the needs of your customers. The more diverse your workforce is, the greater the chances that your employee will cater the needs of your customers. Diversity recruiting will also keep your company innovative and profitable. Last on the list is to promote collaborative multicultural teams. Our main characters here are the culturally diverse customers, which means we are dealing with different kinds of cultures. If we are going to deal with diversity, everything has to start with the workplace, which means we have to build a camaraderie inside the workplace to better understand the cultural indifferences of everyone.
Why should you care about your diversity in your customer service department, and what can you do to make the most of it? Let's look at the two key ways of having a diverse customer department can benefit the overall health of your company. The first one is best serving a diverse customer base. No matter what industry or space your company is in, it's likely that customers are a diverse bunch of people with a mix of race, religion, social status, and a number of other characteristics. The more diverse your customer service team is, the more likely they will able to show empathy towards diverse customer base and take customer requests seriously. Simply put, a diverse customer service team is better equipped to connect your customers to your brand. A diverse workforce also gives you better insight into your customers. They're diverse too, after all, Strange Fellow says. Number 2. Diverse perspectives lead to innovation and creativity. Diverse teams are breeding grounds for innovation and creativity. More than ever, fostering a culturally diverse environment is the best way to unearth innovation and creativity within your teams. A Boston Consulting Group study discovered that companies with more diverse management teams had 19 percentage points higher than innovation revenues than companies with below average diversity scores. Furthermore, studies have shown that inclusive companies are 1.8 times more likely to be change-ready than their inclusive competitors. Diverse companies benefit from innovation more than their less diverse competitors, which in return positively impact their bottom line. That's all. Thank you.
Creating a culture of continuous engagement and learning. A company should be a place which has the same opportunities for advancements of the workers as per the customers. A company should build empathy, rewards fresh thinking, invite people to express concerns, and see mistakes as necessary part of growth. Fostering an inclusive work environment. This is about how the company should make the employees feel that their culture is accepted and respected in the company. By doing this, the employees will be more happy and feel that their voices are being heard. Reward continuous learning and ensure that learning is a top priority.
Attracting more diverse talent. The business relies on creating a diversity-friendly culture. Search and look for possible partnership and make it work. One is through hiring diverse employees, not just only hiring by entry level. They have more potentials than we ever know if we base the employment or company by merely looking at their resume. Number 6. Diverse teams solve problems faster. A diverse customer service team can solve problems faster and easier. A team that is made up of people with different background, personalities, and skills will more likely yield to an immediate solution to problem. There's a wider coverage of solving the problem when the members have different background experiences and apply what they believe is the best action. Diverse team solves problem faster. A diverse customer service team can solve problem faster and easier. A team that is made up of people with different background, personalities, and skill will more likely yield to an immediate solution to problems. There's a wider coverage of solving the problem when the members have different background experiences and apply what they believe is the best action.
Number 7, improving employee retention. One of the benefits that comes with diversity in customer service is that it improves employee retention. A company that values individuality, appreciates and respects diversity will most likely to be the company that receives the highest degree of loyalty from their employees. An employee that feels appreciation and empowerment from their uniqueness will most likely to perform well and stay in the company. It's by the power of the human resources management that a company will be able to have diversity and enjoy the benefits that comes along with it. It gives the company an opportunity to grow exponentially by knowing how to utilize the strengths that lies within a group of talented, diversified individuals. Due to this, everyone can learn from each other and cover up for their strengths and weaknesses. This will then lead to a harmonious and inclusive workplace that everyone can do its best and be happy. Diversity in the workforce also represents the diversity of the customers and consumers. Therefore, a company will be able to understand the differences of customers and provide them the best service in according to one's uniqueness. This is the end of our discussion. We thank you all for staying, listening, and we all hope that you have learned something from this.